Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Boston Sports Nuts. Woohoo! I'm Ken Berman, joined by my good buddy Jim Russo. Hey, Jim.
Ken, how are you?
Good. And Paul Izzo. Paul, how you doing?
Doing great.
Um, as I've been talking about and charting and doing research on the absolute like takeover of Boston Sports Nuts across the country, Paul, you actually have some information, I think, to give us
Well,
on.
I do, Ken, and thank you for that kind introduction. No, I want to thank all our viewers, and I want to thank all the cable stations across the United States that have been picking us up. We've had
Yeah.
stations in Northern California pick us up and in other Midwestern states, but in Massachusetts, all of Boston sports fans, we've been picked up. Thank you very much to the Danvers Community Access Television, Avon Community Access, Uxbridge Community Television, Newport, Vermont, Foxborough Cable Access, Provincetown, where I get all my shirts every summer, Community Television. Thank you to folks in Provincetown, Wethersfield Community TV in Connecticut, New Bedford Cable, Wakefield, Massachusetts, East Hampton, Massachusetts, Winchester, Massachusetts, and we'll have more next week. But
Yeah,
this being our 50th show on Westwood Cable, we are really excited. And I've been corrected, by the way, by our producer who's telling me in my chat spot here that we've also been picked up by, where is that again?
I
It
don't
went
see
away.
Yeah, I don't see anything in my chat box.
Yeah, I know Virginia, New Jersey was on there.
Yeah, Virginia, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention all the Spotify places and Apple podcast places and all that too. So,
no, I mean, we've never really like pushed to get a very high viewership. We kind of let this thing grow organically and it's growing. So we're
yeah.
excited.
And big thank you to Evan Cadamino, our producer slash director. He's done a great job doing all that. And we just have a blast doing this. So that's why at the age of 137, we're all three doing this. And we'll continue to do it until I can't turn a computer on anymore or meet in person. So, which we're looking forward to some shows coming up in person before not too long. And so anyway, let's get started with a incredible uh Leitner-esque finish to an NCAA tournament game between UConn and Duke, where Duke was pretty much dominating the game for most of it, up 19 at one point, up 15 at the half. The first number one seed ever to lose a 15-point halftime lead. It was 134-0 when a number one seed had a 15-point lead at halftime. It's now 134-1 as UConn somehow or another pulled out a dramatic victory with a, I don't know, what was it, 35, 40-foot shot that hit nothing but net, guys? Pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
Well,
Anybody?
I'll get started. Congratulations to UConn. It's great to have a New England powerhouse in college basketball.
Yeah, huh?
You know, I probably wish it were URI or Providence College. I'm sure some of our viewers wish it were Boston College, you know, UMass. There are other schools around here, but it's great that we have a legit, you know, annual contending team in New England. And for UConn to pull that out at the end was really quite amazing. I think the thing that you see in a game like that, which is unfortunate, is a mistake by a really good player.
Yeah.
That's been a part of NCAA history forever, going back to, you know, Freddie Brown and Weber calling timeout, and you know, just kind of throw the ball up like that at the end is unfortunate. But hey, give Mullen credit; he made the shot, and I was all by myself watching the game, and I literally leaped out of my seat and yelled, "Oh my God!" I couldn't believe that he made that shot.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, it was. Couple of thoughts. People compare it justifiably to the Leitner shot. Leitner actually has two in a way. He beat UConn with a shot. Sorry, Ken. But the game does not compare to that Kentucky game. It was a very different game. The Kentucky game is arguably one of the 2 to 5 greatest college basketball games of all time. Two legendary coaches, back and forth. I think there were 100 points. Just an awesome. This was not that. This was not that kind of game. Duke dominated the first half, and then UConn just kept hanging in there, showing their tenacity, and then came back to that. And then if you look at the final segments, it's really an example of how sports can turn on such little things, and heroes can become not heroes and vice versa. So if you go through that, I mean, UConn had an awful possession before that.
Yeah.
On a just an awful possession. They're down 3, and they took 17 to 20 seconds to get anything going.
Right.
And there was less than 50 seconds. It was a terrible possession.
Yep.
Then Boozer fouls the UConn guard, who only makes 1 of 2. He makes the second one. So, UConn's not exactly closing down the stretch here. And things would have been reversed. But Duke takes the ball out. They don't call timeout, which is fine. And they run a perfect press break.
Yep.
They get it to Boozer, the Cameron Boozer, the guy that'll be in the top 3 in the NBA draft, who is about to get doubled. Another mistake by UConn. They do not rotate the press over to prevent the pass back to the man taking it in bounds. Now, whatever level you're on when you press, that's what you do, in my humble opinion. They don't do it. Boozer passes it back to the guy that threw it in, who then many press breaks put a man in the middle, so he either has to be guarded, taken away from the sides, or he's unguarded. The other Boozer is unguarded. This is not a good trap to foul by UConn. Guy makes a perfect pass to the other Boozer. Everything is going Duke's way. They have 2 guys down the court who are ready to dunk the ball. So there are many options. And Boozer just didn't make the right play. He could have held the ball. Maybe he even could have thrown it high in the air. Who knows? Or he could have made a better pass. Maybe holding the ball was probably the best option.
Can I just...
UConn's guard jumps up, great deflection to Mullins, who gives it to Caravan, who deserves a lot of credit.
Right.
He could have taken that shot. He's the senior. He's won 2 championships. But he had Cam Boozer on him. It would have been an incredibly difficult make. Yep. Yeah. And he passes back to Mullins, who has not made a shot, I think, in the game. But it was a good 3-point shooter. He shoots from 35 feet, nothing from net. Unbelievable play.
Just crazy.
Just incredible. And UConn, to close it out, just, they were 1 for 18 from 3, but made 4 in the last, 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's why the 3-point line was put in.
Until he made one of the biggest shots of the game at 70-65 when he hit a 3 close to 2 points. Yeah. That was huge.
Yeah, it was big.
So kudos to UConn. Crushing defeat for Duke. Crushing. Yeah. Especially after last year when they lost a 14-point lead in the finals.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the semifinals, I should say. Semifinals.
We've all coached at different levels and things like that. Kids, middle school. Jim, you've done even older than that. But you can watch it in college, and we've seen it in the pros. Sometimes guys just panic at times like that. I got to get rid of the ball. I got to get rid of the ball. I mean, Boozer didn't have to get rid of it. There was no reason for him to, but 2 guys were coming at him, and you just listen. It's in the heat of the moment. And you just don't think straight sometimes. And we've seen it at every level. When I coached, sometimes I'd run a hut press and the other team would just not be able to handle it, even if they had some good players. And you got a lot of turnovers and layups and things like that. And by the way, we saw Patino do it for the Knicks in the NBA. Yeah. Where he was driving people crazy with presses like that.
when he had the Knicks. Yeah.
Yep, when
Can
he had
I-
the Knicks.
I take a little bit different take on that last play. I think that he made the play that you would make at any other time of the game. Okay. There are two guys who can dunk the ball uncontested down
Yeah.
court.
Yep.
All right. He makes a good pass. It's a dunk ball game. I think what he didn't do was say time and score. Okay. I don't need the 2 more points right here.
Right.
This is not, 5 minutes left in the game, 10 minutes left in the game. I can hold the ball. They're going to foul me, and he shoots over 80% from the line.
Yeah, you make 2 foul shots, it's over.
You make 2 foul shots, it's over. Or even if you make 1, it's still going to be a really top 3, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think it was more, he made the play that you would normally make, and he just didn't make the time and score play. That was
One
my
thing about the play that I thought was kind of interesting is, and it goes back to how there's so much unfair second guessing in punditry.
Yeah.
That if Mullen misses the shot badly, the guy who throws him the pass lives in infamy for throwing it to him. I mean, they would have said, you can't give it to him. He's a freshman.
Freshman, yeah.
He's too far away from the basket. That all goes out the window because he made the shot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't,
Right.
to Jim's point, it was kind of a high risk move from a perception perspective for him as the more experienced player not to try to make the shot himself. But it worked, and so no one's going to talk about that. But that's how sports is.
And I
You
just
make
think
the
there were
decision and it
multiple.
works out. No one's going to criticize it.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
there were multiple instances of that down the stretch on both teams. On
Mhm.
both teams. Like if Boozer had held the ball and got fouled, there probably would have been, I don't know, 4 seconds left. Why didn't Hurley foul earlier? How come they didn't reach Cam Boozer right away? I mean,
Right. Right. I think they were trying to. They just didn't get there, Jim. I don't think they executed the press great.
No. Like I said, it was a tremendous play by Duke until the final thing that was required.
Right.
It was tremendous.
Hey, but just if you're a UConn fan, just a great game. If you're a Duke fan, just so disappointing, so heartbreaking because there's so much emotion involved in this tournament. But anyway, I think UConn goes on to play. Who are they going on to play?
Illinois.
Illinois. I think the other game, Arizona, Michigan. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are the 2 best teams left in the tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the headlining game.
Yeah.
But it's one game. So
It's right.
go back
it's
to
one game.
'85. Georgetown St. John's de facto national championship. Villanova beats Georgetown. Historic upset.
Oh yeah.
That is going to be an amazing. That's going to be something. You got 2 powers there.
Those are
They've been both playing great, and Illinois is a good team. UConn beat them earlier, and something about UConn, man. I'll tell you.
something about UConn.
I mean, if you look at the betting lines where the public and Vegas is on this,
Mhm.
one game is 2.5 and the other game's 1.5. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really close.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking that either of these games is a blowout at this point. My traditional thought, if you're a gambler, is you always go with the underdogs in the Final Four and the favorite in the final game.
Mhm. Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
people that are interested in that sort of thing, that might be a way to go. But I just think UConn has it going now. Everybody's been talking about Arizona from the beginning. They've been sort of the chalk, the favorite.
Mhm.
And they've played okay in the tournament. But I think, I don't know if Jim was suggesting that. I just think UConn, with their experience, their coach, I mean, with almost no time left, he's on the sidelines exhorting his players, we're going to win this game. He's just seems to have it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not a betting person, but I would think the final's going to have a bigger line.
Yeah,
Whoever wins Arizona
Right.
or Michigan,
I agree
is
with
gonna
that,
be-
Jim.
That doesn't mean they'll win the game, but I think
Right.
it'll be a bigger line.
Yeah.
Um,
The
Well, we
Arizona,
already
Michigan.
have the hypothetical lines for the final games. because
Oh,
there's only 4 possible matchups.
I
Right.
didn't
And the
know that.
only one that's a 5-point game is Arizona -5 over UConn.
Yeah.
All the rest of them are 3, 2,
Oh, wow.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
All
they're all pretty close. I mean,
But I think
5
that's
is not really close,
right.
but it's, you know,
But
it's
the
not 10.
Arizona Michigan winner will definitely be the favorite.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, 3 more things about this game.
Yep. And then we got to
Okay,
move on.
number one, credit to Boozer. He did not go to the press conference portion, but he was interviewed at his locker, and he was,
Mhm.
For a freshman young man, all credit to him for standing up, talking about the play. I mean, actually, he sat down, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just all credit to him. There are pros that wouldn't have handled it as well. Maybe I'm wrong, but
We
I
forget
just
their
give him
kids
a.
sometimes.
I'm sorry.
We forget their kids sometimes.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
and in that situation, he's on the court. He's still a young kid.
yeah, and he was interviewed right, I guess, at his locker. I just give him all the credit in the world. Second, if you have not seen the video of Bill Raftery's reaction is classic. He is absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
He's absolutely looks like he's in shock. And Grant Hill kind of, is from Duke,
From
kind of
Duke.
puts
Yeah.
his hand over his face for a little while. And then Raftery, you can see him looking down at the replay, so he calls the replay. And Grant Hill says, all Duke had to do was hold the ball. And Raftery's like, absolutely. But the initial reaction of Raftery, you got to see this. Now, Ken, I'm going to rain on your parade a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't
His
know I had
daughter's
a
parade.
I think the referee did the right thing. But what is Danny Hurley thinking? What is he doing? He celebrates after the shot.
Yeah.
There's a video of this too. The referee is walking towards him. Now, keep in mind, there was a play earlier where Rick Pitino posted something that how did Boozer Cameron Boozer not get a charge call on that? Okay. I don't know if this was the reason. The referee comes toward Hurley, and Hurley's got this look on his face, stern. And he presses his forehead against the referee's forehead. Not a headbutt. Somebody labeled it a headbutt. It wasn't. But he made contact forehead to forehead. The referee then goes over to the scorer's table to do what he has to do with the clock. This is a potentially game and future altering event.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have got a tech.
Yeah.
That is 2 shots and Duke ball. What is he thinking? Why
He
is
doesn't
he
always
doing
think.
this?
I don't know. He doesn't
I
always
mean,
think.
There are refs, I believe, that would have called that a technical. And I think it would have been a technical if there were 5 to 10 minutes left in the game. You don't make contact with a ref. You don't put your forehead against the ref's forehead.
What was
I'm
he
just like,
complaining about?
I don't know, because nobody's asked him that I've seen. It's just a video that's out there. Mad Dogs was like, it was playful, but I looked at his face and I'm like, I don't think that was playful.
He can look like crazy when he's playful. So
Ken, it's like, oh my God. I just like, think about that. He'd have to answer for that if Duke wins. Mullins is now a footnote. Just hit one of the biggest shots in the history of the tournament. He's a footnote. He's a footnote to Danny Hurley's technical.
Well, didn't happen.
Danny Hurley has to live with that.
Yeah, didn't happen.
But I got to say something. My hat's off to the referee. That was not the moment to make a stand, and he showed some very, very good reffing. If it was a headbutt, he would have had to call it. He didn't have to call this, and he didn't. So hats off.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're all speculating here, but you've made a lot of points about it. What I would say is, if we don't know what it was about, he might have said earlier in the game, don't count us out, Joe. And then he might have walked over to him and put his head on him and said, I told you not to count us out. Like, you don't know what it was.
He didn't say a word. and someone says that the
Sometimes
refs say
people have a way of communicating with someone they know about an issue.
it's
Just
possible, and someone said the ref just said, "Move out of the way."
I mean, I'm sure he was just so excited, basically, not mad at the refs for anything.
Yeah, because Ken, we've all watched basketball for years, and we always see coaches place their forehead on referees' foreheads, right, Paul? You've seen that
Oh,
how
it's-
many
it's-
times?
I
yeah,
Millions?
it is.
I've
it
lost
is.
count of.
Thousands?
Hey, look, I'm not defending Hurley.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just
No,
saying, like,
no, but I want to say I think his behavior is reprehensible.
Oh,
I think the way he acts, the way he is, what he
ridiculous.
gets away with, it just proves in America, going back to Bobby Knight and these guys, if you win, a lot is forgiven.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, let me give the flip side to Bobby Hurley to be fair. Okay, uh,
Danny Hurley.
Danny Hurley. Like I said, I don't know why he did that. It was not a headbutt. I don't. It wasn't. So the ref was right, in my opinion. However, Danny Hurley. This is his third Final Four in 4 years. His last, I believe it's 18 games in the Sweet 16 or above. He is 18-0. This guy is a phenomenal
He's a
college
good,
basketball coach. Just amazing coach.
he's a good coach. There's no doubt
He's
about it.
fantastic, Ken.
Yep.
He's up
Yep.
there with Pitino.
Yeah. And,
I would
before
argue him and Pitino are the chalk in college basketball.
and it's just so weird to me that UConn is this New England power, because I've been to UConn a ton of times. And when I used to, it's literally nowhere. Nothing. There was nothing around it when my daughter, I mean, so they've built it up, but it's,
Yeah.
it's in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut. It's,
Yeah. And
that
how
is-
about Jordan's furniture, by the way? You guys have, I'm sure, seen those ads where everybody got their furniture free if the men's and women's team make the final
The
game,
final,
not
yeah.
win it.
it's close.
Both of them are one game away.
Away. I know. It's ridiculous.
But
Wow.
one of my good friends who Jim knows, I'm not going to say their name,
Yep.
missed it by 6 days. Spent a fortune on a dining room set.
Really? Oh.
They're very unhappy. They didn't even know about
Oh, wow.
Oh,
it.
wow. Too bad. Hey,
All right, let's
well,
move on.
let's move on, because the NCAA tournament we can talk about next week
Sure.
again. But so the Red Sox season is off and running and on a good start. I noticed 1-3 or something like
One and three, last place in their division.
1-3, last place in the division. They're smacking that pill around. They are hitting with runners in scoring position and off to just a tremendous and to start. Not really the start we wanted, Paul, is it?
No, the thing that's discouraging is the things that we thought. No, last week I said on the show I was optimistic. So
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
jumping
so
off the
early.
bandwagon that quickly,
Yeah, it's
especially
only 4
starting on the
games.
road and so forth. But gotta say, the things that you worried about coming into the season have happened.
Right.
They did not solve their problem at third base. I mean, this kid Durbin has been a mess.
0 for 14.
Well, he's been on base once in 15 plate appearances.
Yeah.
As you would say, is that bad? Like, that's pretty bad.
That's not a good percentage.
The team, if I go back to the 60s, and the Red Sox, for 99% of their history in recent years, have had a big bat in the middle of the order. They had Yastrzemski, they had Rice, they had Evans, they had Mo Vaughn, they had Big Papi, they had Manny Ramirez, they've had a bat.
Yep.
They had Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
In the teens. They don't have that. I mean, when you get past Roman Anthony and then you're looking for and Story, you're looking for guys that are good players like Contreras and some of these other guys to come through, but they're not established middle of the order stars. And I think that makes the whole lineup suspect. They've been terrible in high leverage situations.
Oof.
They're near the bottom of the league. The team on base percentage is 316.
Yeah.
So it's just been rough. And the pitching hasn't been bad. They've been on the road and their team ERA is under 4. When they had a chance to win a game, the bullpen was decent. So right now, you got to be a little concerned about third base and the middle of the order. That's my take.
As a friend of mine said, this morning. We're right where we were at the end of last year right now. And I think he's right. Crochet is Crochet. He goes out on opening day, doesn't give up a run. And I'll expand on what my friend said, but Whitlock and Chapman are lights out on opening day. Chapman also got 3 outs the next day, I believe. And we don't hit. The Sox don't hit, as Paul said. There's no power bat in the middle of the order. The rest of the bullpen, has not really done it. And the other starters after Crochet, just like the Yankee series, not doing it. Gray was not good. Suarez was not good. Oviedo, who was projected as a starter, was not good. And just like the end of last year, a young pitcher came up and was pretty good, and the bullpen let him down, and that was Conley early. So it looks like, again, it's 4 games. It's way too early, but, it just looks like it's going to be more of the same. Now, the good news, Abreu has just been great. He's playing every day. He's playing against lefties. He's been great. And Marcelo Meyer is a heck of a defensive player. He pinch hit in the first game, got 2 hits, but he's made some great defensive plays at second, and we know he can play short, and we're pretty sure he can play third. So he's really a good defensive player if you want to look at some positives.
He should be the shortstop.
And then, nobody else is hitting, and it's...
Well, their average with runners on base is just like it's almost unbelievable how bad
I'm kind of with Paul. You don't have that big guy in the middle.
Right. Even Bregman was a bigger bat than what they have.
The beginning of the season, not the second half after his injury.
After his injury, right. But
no, the guy, hey, look, hate to bring it up, but they missed Devers. That's 30-something homers, 100-something RBIs a year. There is no guarantee anyone on this team is going to do that. And I don't want to relitigate that, as they say, but they need somebody like that. And, it's a shame because they haven't been fun to watch either.
Contreras was supposed to, well, he's just off to a rough start. He's 1 for 14 or something like that, but he supposedly was going to take Bregman's place as that right-handed bat in the middle of the order. So let's see if they're going to need him to, somebody's going to have to. Somebody's going to have to hit
Well,
them.
look, can I pump the brakes a little bit on this? They missed Bregman thing. Okay. It's funny. Alex Bregman got a lot better in the offseason than he was actually when he was playing. He had a couple of hot streaks when he played with the Red Sox.
Well, his first half was pretty good.
He missed a ton of games.
Yeah.
Okay. To say he was the right-handed presence in the middle of the order. I saw some things in the national media leading up to the season. How are the Red Sox going to replace Bregman? Well, I think a better way to say it is, how are they going to replace Devers / Bregman?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that spot, to Jim's point, that would have been Devers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That middle of the order presence.
Yep.
That's why I said,
I understand. I understand that between his personality and his refusal to move to first base and so forth, but looking back on it, if Devers had moved to first base, okay, say he did, or decided that he would be the DH, they'd still have a hole at third because they weren't willing to pay Bregman to stick around.
Right.
So
absolutely.
it's
they
not
needed
like
both. Yeah.
They needed both. So I just think that, they're 12th in the league in cash payroll. They've become sort of this team that's, they're not the Kansas City Royals. They're not the Miami Marlins. They're spending money, but they don't seem to be highly motivated to fill their holes in the offense.
They're more mid-market now.
And they did not spend the Devers money. Can we all agree on that? They just
and that's why I said the first half of the year Bregman was. I agree with you that the first half of the year Bregman was good. It's good, and then whether the injury, the missed time, whatever, second half he wasn't that tough to replace.
Right.
So I agree. The big replacement is they still haven't done it, It's Devers.
Yeah, they didn't get a Devers.
It's Devers.
And they
That's
got
the
nothing
big.
for him.
And that was the other thing, Ken. You want to trade him? Okay.
Get something, man.
I'm sorry. If you got to hold on to him longer to get something, you got to hold on to him. Bite the bullet. You got to get something for that guy. And I'm not even sure they have a player in that trade that's left, do they?
I don't think so.
No, nobody that of consequence, that's for sure.
So
Okay.
that's, by the way, add Mookie Betts and Devers together and you got nothing for either one of them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really not good management on the Red Sox.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you know, those things have to be about. Look, in fairness to the Red Sox, and I can't believe I'm saying this, those trades were not about, those were not Mike Easler for John Tudor trades.
Right.
Where you trade a player for a player, thinking that you need that player more than you need the player you got rid of. Those were salary motivated trades.
Yeah. Salary
yeah, but
dumps.
They were.
can we say that that's the wrong way to operate if you're the
Yes.
Boston Red Sox?
Yes.
I mean, you're going to
Yes.
dump salary?
But that's a different criticism, I think.
Yeah, true. 2 homegrown stars?
I
mean,
heard Felger and Maz put it as they're sort of the Minnesota Twins, the Cincinnati Reds, they're the mid-market, the middle of the country type team now.
I heard that too. That's not true. Okay. They're not a mid-market team. I think it's fair to say they behave a little bit like a mid-market
Yeah, that's what I
team.
mean. Acting like
Well,
one.
no, but that's not what they meant.
Oh,
Okay.
What did they
Because what
mean?
they
I didn't hear this. What did they mean?
they meant we're literally a mid-market team now where we fill holes with weak players and things like
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
I think the Red Sox have 2 problems. Number one, they're trying to be too clever. Like they're picking up guys because they have this special skill or they do this or they do this. Pete Alonso was an obvious signing for them. Big right-handed bat,
yeah,
30 million a year, perfect replacement for Devers.
yeah.
And they let the Orioles get him. The Orioles don't have the revenue the Red Sox have. Why'd they
Right.
do that? It was obvious.
Also
That was the
a
guy.
pretty good defensive first baseman. I think he led the league in scoops.
Yeah. So instead they say, well, we'll get this other guy who's,
Contreras.
cheaper, almost as good. It's like they're playing nerdball. I think that's a fair criticism of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, not a great start. They do come home starting when? Today? Tomorrow? Today?
No,
They
Friday.
got Houston
Oh,
again.
Friday. Friday. I'm sorry, Friday.
Yeah.
That's right. They
Playing
Oh,
come
they
a
got 2
3-game
more
series.
games in Houston. They start
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah,
right.
Bayo makes his first start tonight.
Yeah. So not the start we were hoping for, but listen, it's 4 games and baseball.
Oh yeah, of course. This is all 4 games.
Yeah. So we're gonna stick with them because they're our
But
team.
when you're in last with just 158 left to play, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you got to be thinking about it. Now,
But look, this is
go ahead.
not in the last 10 years, this has happened several times
Hmm.
where they come out of the gate in
Mm-hmm.
a deep hole.
That's happened with Cora a few times.
Right. And you just gotta, if Jim nailed it, or Jim's buddy nailed it, which is it's deja vu all over again. Crochet, it's just like last week I said the postseason worries me because when you get past Crochet, what do you got? But the reality is it hasn't really been the pitching. It's been a really anemic offense. Really
yeah.
anemic.
Oh yeah, that's number one. His point was just, other than early, the other 2 games they didn't get a quality start, which he's right.
Yeah.
But they got a quality start from early and they didn't hit for him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Oh, they had a terrible pitch, by the way, on that 3-run homer.
Weiser.
Oh.
Yep.
Worst pitch of the year.
Yeah, and that was
Right down Broadway.
His point about the bullpen, which I shouldn't assume, but I presume that he, excluding Whitlock and Chapman, that Weiser gave up the big hits there. Aviato was not good last night.
Yeah, last night 8-1. That couldn't have been good. That had to be ugly.
Can we talk about ABS a little bit? Does
Yeah,
anybody
I
wanna-
wanted to. Yeah, do you want to start out? Because it's we've watched the first 4 games. It's just getting underway. Go ahead, thoughts, Paul, on ABS.
Okay, so I'm going to do a classic sports talk thing and pat myself on the back because I was the first person, I said it in the winter, that this ball strike challenge thing was going to be big for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
What I missed was it's even bigger than I predicted. It's been right in the middle of several games, not just for the Red Sox. I mean,
Right.
the Red Sox arguably won a game, with ABS in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's obvious where this is headed. They're going to get rid of umpires calling balls and strikes. Because what ABS has done is it's shown that they're wrong a lot in critical situations. And it's a really hard thing to do. I don't think the fans understand the strike zone, which is that the box is not at the front of the plate. So a lot of these pitches that traditionally look like strikes are not strikes under the way the ball strike machinery works now. It's actually in the middle of the plate. So that classic breaking pitch that catches the front of the corner that looks like a strike, it's looked like a strike for 160 years, is no longer a strike. So what I'm thinking is let's stop the charade. Let the umpire call the balls and strikes with his arm so the fans know what's happened. And let's have him call foul balls, foul tips, plays at the plate. Let him be the field general of the game, whatever it is, the crew chief, I don't care. But to have this guy back there constantly under the pressure of
Yeah.
being called wrong by a machine that has the final word is dumb.
Yeah, it's inevitable, and it's a matter to me. It's a matter of when, not if. And I just think that first of all, I love it because it's so quick. You
That's a,
know, there's
that's the
been a
only, that's,
challenge. A couple seconds later, so now a ball. Uh, but it's inevitable, and I think it's just it's a question of how much do they want to do at once. And some changes require gradual stuff, even though we don't need to be gradual. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I think you'll see minor leagues do it, and then you'll see it in the majors. It's just a matter
Well,
of
Jim, if you
time.
were an umpire, you've umpired Little League, I've umpired Little League, Senior League. At
Yeah,
this
I've done
point, wouldn't you
senior league.
want it? Like, in other words, okay, I'm tired of being, that umpire in the opening game looked like a fool. I mean, he was constantly getting overruled. He was constantly wrong. Like, okay, I don't have to do it. You guys do
Well,
it.
as long as they're getting the same money, they'll be fine with it. I mean,
Yeah, well, they want
if you
more
say,
money.
well, you're
So,
not doing as much anymore, your salary's cut 5%, or your raise isn't going to be the normal, then you might have a problem. Yeah, I
yeah.
would think they eventually. It's going to happen. I mean, it's a matter of time. This is, like I said, some
so
things
you're both
gradual.
for it then, and you want to see it progress to the next level.
I'm
I do.
against it.
Okay.
I'm
You're
against
what?
it. Whether I'm for or against it is irrelevant.
Oh,
Is not what I'm talking. I'm talking about that it's inevitable it's going to happen. I've been 35 years on this show. I don't like replay in sports. In baseball, I've agreed that on a home run call it makes sense, but I don't think replay. I respect and love Jim's point that the whole world knows you got it wrong. Why not get it right with replay? But to me, on balance, it hasn't been good for the sport. And the idea that you can take a guy off second base or put him on second base if you called it foul, that's just ludicrous to me. Maybe the guy would have tripped rounding first base. So I just think that in baseball,
Yeah,
it was
that's an extreme though. That's one where there's no good answer, and I don't like that either. But replay to me, it's inevitable. If I know it, then they should know it. I'm all for ABS, and I'm all for going all the way. And the game will be better for it. Uh, you know, just because it's so fast. It's just so fast. It's not like the other sports. See, with
I'm
the other sports, to me, they don't have time limits, and they really, to me, that's what I would do. If you can't determine, that was it UConn in their first game in the Sweet 16. The game took so long.
yeah.
It ended, CBS staggers their games. Oh, CBS, TBS, TNT, True,
Yeah.
whoever else
yeah.
covers it,
Yeah.
Uh, The game took so long, it was longer than the game above them that was staggered by like 20 minutes. Because the idea is everybody wants to watch the last few minutes of close games, which is a good idea. I do. It was unbelievable. So to me, you just got to have some time. If you can't determine in a minute, get on with it.
Ken, what's your take on ABS? You haven't
I don't,
weighed
I'm
in.
still undecided. I didn't, it wasn't a problem for me watching baseball that the umpire at the plate was so bad that it mattered to me that that was a change they needed to make. So I have to see more of it. I don't know. I sort of like the human aspect a little bit to the game. I know we want to get everything right and all that, but I don't know. The umpire has been in the game for so long. It just wasn't something to me that I thought they had to change.
There's
I just
also one other factor to this that I don't think anybody's really talked about. Umpiring a plate in the major leagues in this era, in my opinion, is much more difficult, say, than in Sandy Koufax's era or Roger Clemens' era, because there is so much more movement on the ball. Back though, in those days, if you got this kind of movement, there was probably a substance on the ball. Okay. You're getting unbelievable movement on these sweepers. The splitter didn't exist.
And guys were throwing a lot slower too.
And they were throwing slower.
right. The
So,
speed of the pitch right
yeah,
now
I
is
think it's
98
much
and
more
above.
difficult than ever. And you know, that WBC game that the US won, you know, that's a walking argument to go to this. You know, that was a shame.
Yeah,
That was
I don't
really,
know.
and I'm going for the US, obviously. I was
Yeah,
happy.
but that WBC last pitch, man, I don't know about you. When I played and when I coached, if it was that close, baby, swing at the ball.
Okay. Don't get me started, Ken. I
Dude, it missed
coached
by
for
an
many
inch.
years. And a friend of mine and I, there were times we were on an island. We were teaching the strike zone. Why is that? Oh, swing at anything close. Take out the Ted Williams hitting chart, why we did what we did. When you swing at pitches, even Ted Williams, arguably the greatest hitter of all time, when you swing at pitches outside the strike zone, your average dips. People that know the strike zone, and if you're going to start with kids, obviously we were, and tell them 2 inches off the plate, that's what you got to swing at. We had an umpire come up to us before a game and tell us, I called 2 inches off the plate. What?
Well, I'm not for that, but
No, but that's
A lot
how
of
you
little
get.
league umpires say that.
yeah, I
That's
know
how
they
you
do.
get bad habits. You know, that's how you get very bad habits.
Well, I
That
just thought that
was
pitch was so close
that was a great take. It is so hard to take a splitter in that situation. That guy did not freeze. You can tell when a guy freezes. He did not freeze. That was a great take. And I
Great
wanted
take.
the US. Like I said, I was like, yes, when we won. He deserved better than that. He did. He did.
Okay. All right, Jim,
mean,
I'll let that. I
but,
can't.
We
know,
got to get some
Ken-
Celtics talk in here.
Ken,
Okay.
I've had that disagreement with people for 40 years.
Jim, I got in trouble coaching third grade because I trained my guys to take pitches. The head of all SIBSA, Sharon Baseball, emailed me and said, "You should tell guys to get up there hacking away." That was his
No.
exact words. They should be swinging away. I said,
No.
"Okay."
No. Hey, I respect your
All right.
opinion, Ken, but that's mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking 2-3 inches off the plate. I'm talking if it could maybe scrape the black. I mean,
It
you never
didn't.
know what an umpire is going to do.
Just
So,
remember, some of these guys know the strike zone as well as they do.
okay. Okay.
But, hey, that's my opinion. Paul's right. Let's
I'm
get
just
on.
undecided on ABS right now.
Yeah,
I
let's
need
get
a
on
little
to the.
time to see how it goes because
Ken, you're probably in the majority on this anyway. Me and Paul are the outliers here.
but because I wasn't in the big complaint area of that was what was ruining the game.
Yeah.
So, but hey, listen, every other move they've made to change has really worked. So let's
Yep.
assume this. I hope this one does too. And The best thing about it is it's really quick. And
Yep.
can other sports do that?
I
That would
told you they need time limits, but
And
speaking of
before
time
we-
limits,
before I forget and go to the Celtics, I'll lead into it with a little more. But as good as some of these NCAA tournament games are, I'm going to go back to there's just too many stops in play. There is just too many timeouts, too many breaks. Just it's to me it gets aggravating at some point. But anyway, that's another whole topic with the NCAA tournament with the automatic timeouts after, and some guy can call one with 12:15 and then the next whistle blows at 11:47 and they go timeout again. Like, stop that. You got to stop that. Anyway, so we'll lead into the Celtics, but one thing I want to say is I have recently sort of been, I don't know, educated that our guy, Jaylen Brown, is no longer in the MVP conversation. He's out. I heard he's out. He's not in the conversation now is SGA, Wemby, and Doncic, and that's it. Brown's out, guys. I don't know what you feel about that, but Jaylen Brown is out of the conversation.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Okay.
that.
That's
I
a
think
hot
the
take.
big thing with Jaylen Brown, be realistic, is does he make first team All NBA? Because you've got SGA, Jokic, Wemby are locks. Doncic's probably a lock. And then it would come down to Jaylen Brown and Cade Cunningham. And that may be decided for the voters because Cunningham's at 61 games and he may not make it.
Right.
But that would be the big thing with Jaylen Brown is does he make first team
So
All NBA? I don't think he's going to win. I'd be surprised if he's in the top 3 in MVP voting.
okay, so
Well,
I was
in
just
the-
going to
in
say,
the-
do you agree
And
with
he's
On
had
the
a
betting
great
line,
year.
he's-
He's had a great year.
On the betting line, he's fifth.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, SGA, the order is SGA, Wemby, Doncic, Jokic, and then Brown.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Brown would be the first American-born guy in the MVP conversation. How's that?
Yeah. There you
So
go.
do you guys? So the question is, do you agree with that, or do you think he should be higher?
As great a year as he's had, I think the only guy you could maybe get him into fourth with is Doncic because he's a far better defensive player. But boy, without Doncic has had a great year. There's no getting around it.
I have an analogy that I use for Jaylen Brown. He's Dwight Evans. He's a guy that came up with a lot of talent, but at the beginning of his career, people tended to focus on what he couldn't do rather than what he could do. And when he got to his 8th or 9th year, he became a star. But at that point, as Bill James pointed out in the 80s, people's perceptions of him had already hardened. So it's hard for Jaylen Brown now at 30 or 10 years in the league for people all of a sudden to go, wow, he's the MVP. When you've got SGA, who's ridiculously good,
Yeah, 47.
Wemby, who's brand new to the league and is a star, and other guys that have already won MVPs. So it's just really hard for him to break through. And I also think, and I'll go to my grave with this one, there is an anti-Celtic bias in the media that goes back 50 years. It just is.
That may or may not be true. I'd also add to your analysis of why he's not higher is that the guys you were talking about, man, I mean, how do you put him over SGA? He's leading the best team. He's remarkable in the clutch. He's unstoppable. They're probably going to change a rule just because of him, which they should change, by the way. The movement
Yeah,
side by side rule there,
he got
or unwritten
called for a
rule.
push off last night that would have won the
Wow.
game.
Wow. Jokic is
Unicorn.
is just incredible. He's up
Yeah.
there with the greatest centers of all time. I mean, we have to acknowledge that. And then Wemby is having his breakout year, however old he is, 21, 22. He's just a dominant player who's on the team, I believe, with the second or third best record, who's vaulted them into title contention.
Yeah.
I don't know how, it's just so hard. And then Doncic is just, I think Doncic benefits a little about what Paul was talking about. He was considered a star after his first couple of games. I mean, there was some like, oh, he played in Europe. Is he good enough? Well, he dispelled that very early. He was more than good enough. And he just does remarkable things. So, it's
but nothing taken away from Jaylen Brown.
No, he's had a phenomenal year.
Great year. And he's
phenomenal.
He's helped his team every bit as much, if not more than some of those guys. So, because the Celtics.
Yeah.
We all said they were going to be a 500 team.
Yeah, no, he has.
They've won 50 games.
To get to the Celtics as a team, because we only got a few minutes left.
Yep.
It must be said, okay? Unbelievable job by Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics coaching staff this year.
Unbelievable.
They are in every game. They are beating tough teams. They're beating teams that have something to play for. They're going to be in the mid 50s. They're going to beat their preseason over under by maybe 15 or 16 games. In other words, what the experts and the texperts and all those people thought they were going to do, they're going to miss it by a lot.
Yeah.
And that means me. Okay. I thought they would beat the 41, but I didn't think they were going to win 55 games. I don't think any of you guys did either.
No.
I mean, kudos to Joe. They play hard every night, and kudos to the players. Ugo has been great. Jordan Walsh comes in. He hasn't been playing in a while. He contributes. Baylor Shireman has been out of his mind. Jaylen Brown put the team on his back for 4 months. Jason Tatum comes back and had his best game the other night. He looked vintage. I'm sorry.
He was.
You can nitpick this and that and shooting, but he took over that game in the absence of another great player. I just think it's been one of my favorite seasons of theirs in a while.
Yeah, me too. I still compare it to the 70s with David Collins versus Goliath, Giant Centers era in a way. But yeah, I agree, Paul. Mazzulla, I'm a fan of his, being from Rhode Island. He has been phenomenal. He is the percentage-wise winningest coach in the history of the NBA now.
Yeah.
Above Phil Jackson, above everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think also you touched on a point. The staff's done a phenomenal job because a lot of this is developmental with Shireman and Ugo and Walsh, who started the last 2 games, I believe. And that's what else has been remarkable is that guys can sit. I said at the beginning of the year, it's going to be a tough year because fans are going to have their favorites, but none of them are going to play like consistently. And, Joe's going to have to figure it out game to game. And he has. There's been spots where Walsh hasn't played for weeks.
Right.
But he comes in and he contributes.
There was a time Shireman didn't play.
Shireman was out of it for a while.
Gaza didn't play for a month.
Vooch gets signed and Gaza doesn't play. And then he comes back. He got 20 last night, I believe.
Yeah.
Even though they lost. So getting those guys ready, that's Joe. That's the staff, too. All those assistants. And it's been one of my favorite seasons, too. And,
been a lot of fun this year.
The last couple of games, they lost last night, but they beat Atlanta without Jaylen Brown and Derek White, by the way. And Atlanta was only missing one player. They beat OKC, who for the first time all season had everybody in their rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, you can see with that team, the problem is we got so much talent who's not going to play, but leave that to them for now. It's been great. I think the Knicks thing, the second, is still going to be close because the Celtics have a very tough schedule. For the rest of the year. And the Knicks is a lot easier. And as we all know, the Knicks get a tie even if the Celtics beat them because they played an extra division game because of the cup and won it. So
stupid silly cup.
Yeah.
Get rid of that cup. That means nothing to me.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more
I like
about
it,
them
but
as
hasn't
time
caught
goes
on
because we're going to be leading into the playoffs. One of the things on my mind that we can bring up is like, as we all know, the rotation will get shortened once the playoffs starts. And maybe we talk about who is going to play and who isn't, or how we feel Joe's going to do that. But
Well, the other big question, Ken, is, nobody notices it because they've been winning, but is Vucevic going to come back? And if he comes back, is he going to play?
Yeah, he's close, actually. I read something he's close.
Oh, okay. I hadn't read that.
Yep,
All right.
he's very close.
Okay.
And he will play when he comes back because, as you said, he's a really good basketball player.
He is a very good basketball player.
Yeah. So, but and by the way, Joe was asked, I think last night, about his, being in the consideration for head coach of the year,
Oh, that was hilarious.
and he was pretty salty about it. A little, like, hey, I don't want ever to be asked about that again.
Well, he said it was a dumb award,
That's
and
stupid.
he said, but all credit to the staff. He credited
And
the
the
staff,
players.
and
He
he
said the
credited the
players.
players.
Yeah.
So, but he's like,
He
yeah.
is a unique dude.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no
It's
doubt
just a
about
dumb award, and I don't ever want to be asked about it again.
it. Yeah. Gotta love Joe.
I don't think that's Joe at his finest. I think it's an honor to win Coach of the Year, and I think all he needed to say was something like, "I'm not
flattered.
focused on individual awards, and I hope our players aren't." But to call it a dumb award, I'm sure his agent wasn't happy with that.
Yeah.
No, but
No.
that's who he is.
Yeah.
I
And as
know,
I
but
said
I don't like
before,
that side of him.
It's almost a
it's-
shame that he doesn't smile when he says that, because
Right,
I
right.
find these things, and the players do too. They find him funny. I agree with the players.
He's
Some of
different.
them, I guess, watch these things in the locker
He's
room.
definitely different. He's a different dude. There's no
Yeah, they
doubt.
love him though, and I think Celtics fans. By the way, all credit to Brad Stevens. I mean, he picked a guy off the second row of coaches
Right.
in a very tough situation with the whole Udoka thing,
Yeah.
and the guy is now the winningest coach in his fourth year in the history of the league.
In Celtics
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So
At
Joe's
some
been
point when
great.
we got nothing to talk about, I also want to get into the Danny Age in Utah thing because I have no idea where that's going. So someday we'll talk
Oh.
about that.
Make sure you give us a last remark section, Ken.
Yeah. Okay.
I have something on that.
Mhm.
Right. Right now, go ahead. Last remarks.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
You want me to go?
Yep, I do.
All right. I heard the best. I'm not saying this is perfect. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Probably won't. I heard the best answer to the NBA tanking problem I've heard so far. It was a column I read. What the author suggested doing: scrapping the lottery. I'm definitely for that. Second, the first 2/3 of the season, you rank the teams in inverse order as you normally would, right? So that's the team with the worst record is first. From that point on, you rank them. In other words, you flip it. A win becomes a loss for that ranking.
The better record can get the better pick from their point on.
Well, what happens is, let's say Sacramento has the number one pick after 2/3, and they're 20 and 40.
Yeah.
The next game, if they win, they essentially become 20 and 41. If
Yeah.
they lose,
For that purpose.
right?
Right. For that
Not
purpose.
standings. If they lose, they become 21 and 41. That's the best idea so far.
I'll take it. All right, Paul. Anything on your mind?
Congratulations to Sarah Izzo's Hamilton College Continental Hockey Team, which won the Division III National Championship. Notice I didn't say my Hamilton College because I did not attend Hamilton College. I just paid for Hamilton College.
Yeah. That is a difference between you and I will admit it. So congratulations to my UConn Huskies for going to the Final Four. And thanks to Evan Conamino for producing.
And how about
directing
congratulating the women?
and the women's team too. Well, that's just ridiculous. By the way, all four women's teams that are in the Final Four have won their games by over 100 points, a total 100 points. It's ridiculous. They're just the
And I
women.
think the Final Four are four large
Yeah.
state sort of affiliated universities, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be a fun Final Four too. So anyway, thanks to Evan for putting this together for us. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Boston Sports Nuts.
Thank you for watching Boston Sports Nuts. You can find all of our episodes available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. For more information, go to westwoodmediacenter.tv or follow Boston Sports Nuts on Facebook, Instagram, and X.